All right, Chris Crock Show on News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3. And we have a great guy who I've watched on and off over the years as an expert in the Middle East, expert in Iran. I'll give you a quick 2-cent tour or 5-cent tour before we pop on the air. Walid Phares is he worked in Republican presidential campaigns for Mitt Romney 2012, Donald Trump 2016. Also served as a commentator on terrorism in the Middle East for Fox News since 2007 and for NBC 03 to 06. And he also has several books out, and I want you to go to Google to check out his latest one. It's highly rated, and it's called Iran, an Imperialist Republic and U.S. Policy. And this is perfect timing, Walid Phares, for coming on tonight, and I appreciate you because of what's going on tonight. What's your assessment of what's happening in Iran and what has been happening in Iran with Joe Biden and his fecklessness? And I believe he's walking us backward wimpily into war with Iran in the Middle East.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for inviting me. I'm very happy to be speaking with you and your audience. With regard to the administration, in my new book, Iran, an Imperialist Republic and U.S. Policy, I described very, very much into details the mistakes, the strategic mistakes made by this administration, actually by the previous administration, the Obama administration, since 2009, since the inception of that team, that changed the course of our national security from what was before and engaged this regime. The Iran Islamic Republic is a jihadi government, a jihadi republic, and it has goals, and the goals are still to control the Middle East, to spread Islamization, as it's known politically and ideologically, and eventually to destroy Israel and to come to the West and continue that job. So there is no doubt about what the Iran regime wants. They have been doing it for decades and decades. They have established and launched 4 massive, I would say 5 militias, which militias are trained, funded, and directed from Tehran. And that's in Iraq, the PMF, in Syria, the Ba'ath regime, in Lebanon, obviously the Hezbollah organization, and in Yemen, the Houthis. Obviously, they have an alliance with Hamas, which has waged a war, a genocidal war, as of October 7. So, facing all of these threats, the Obama administration first, followed by the Biden administration 4 years later, have engaged in something unbelievable, which is a transaction with the Iran regime, a transaction of $150 billion, claiming that this would stop the Iran nuclear deal and Iran nuclear power. In fact, it just did the opposite. It allowed the Iran regime to get all that money, and of course, if it's not invest that money in the well-being of Iranians, middle class and others, it bought more weapons, ballistic missiles, technologies, funded the militias. And those militias, as now we are debating and discussing in the media tonight, as our armed forces are striking back, we're responsible for the killing, not just of the 3 personnel a few days ago, but of hundreds and hundreds of American military in Iraq, in Syria, and before that, the attacks in Lebanon. So I do believe that this policy on Iran by this administration needs to change. They have still 1 year. Will they change? I am not sure, because many people in America and in Europe are actually taking advantage of the deal. It's a transaction. We're sending money. Part of the money is being invested in the United States, and that's very difficult to be able to change that money, that policy in these circumstances.
Walid Phares, expert on Iran, Middle East, and terrorism, and his new book is Iran, an Imperialist Republic and U.S. Policy. That's on paperback, available everywhere books are sold, and at Amazon.com right now. Walid, do you believe that Iran that what they're doing tonight, I believe they're fully just blowing up empty facilities across Iraq and Syria. And I have an article in front of me that says from the Daily Wire today, terror groups evacuate their positions after Biden administration tips them off to their plans. I was talking to a mutual friend of ours, Tara, I can't remember her last name. She was in the Trump administration.
Tara Dow.
Dial. Thank you very much. Tara Dow. I was talking to her tonight and off the air with her, and then I was connected with you. But she believes, and I believe strongly, that the United States, Joe Biden had talks with the Iranians and gave them heads up. They already did it publicly too for a week, but that they made sure they were out of there so they wouldn't kill any IRCG guards, Republican guards, at all in this. Do you believe that's true? That he purposely led them for a week so they wouldn't be hit and killed? They could pull their assets out.
What we know, my friend, is that a number of those negotiating on behalf of the administration have been compromised. It's in the media. This is not a secret anymore. Since last September, we have a number of high-ranking security clearances individuals who are advising the administration, and they are from Iranian background. They have been, though, part of our government, emailing with high-ranking officials, including the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Iran. And those emails have been published. And, of course, the mainstream media, which is also in support of the deal, is covering up. Because those emails were very clear, asking the Iran foreign minister, what is it that we can do for you? So here's an American national security official, advisor to the government, advisor to the administration, asking them, what can we do for you? So in my book, Iran, Imperialist Republic, chapters 7, 8, and 9, I clearly detail how the Iran regime has been able to penetrate America, to infiltrate the United States, to use the money of the Iran deal, not just within the bureaucracies, but also in academia and in media and in the art field. And obviously, all those who are taking advantage and profiting from the Iran deal, and that's many, many people, they have allowed this infiltration to come very deep inside our bureaucracy. So yes, I mean, it's much larger than that. It's not just this clash with the Iranian forces that we see. It's sort of a collaboration happening. But previous, even before 7th of October and over the past few years, it all started under the Obama administration, as I argued earlier. There is a collaboration happening, and that is to the detriment of our national security.
Walid Phares, I wanted to ask you this too. Do you believe, I believe strongly with the $6 billion in oil revenue and other cash and unfreezing accounts for Iran, do you believe that we funded by giving this the money to Iran and the reopening their oil spigots, did we fund the Hamas terrorism on Israel, and are we funding the Hamas terrorism, the Iranian proxy terrorism through the Houthis, who almost sunk one of our warships a day or two ago with a cruise missile, and the Kateb al-Hezbollah, I believe it's called, in Iraq, and in Syria, the terrorism there too from their proxies. Did we fund that by allowing all this money to be poured into the regime?
I have no doubt about it. That's also covered by my book. These militias, the leadership of Hezbollah, of Hamas, of Hashd in Iraq, and of the Houthis, I'm just serving all the names, they claim that everything they get it directly from the Islamic Republic. The Islamic Republic leaders, including Al-Quds Force, the Pasdaran, Iranian Revolutionary Guard, they say we are the ones who are supporting Hamas, Hezbollah, Hashd, and Houthis. So there is no doubt that whatever Iran receives from the outside world, from the Iran deal, from the cash that we are sending, they will spend it on them. So if your question is, we funded the Iran regime funded Hamas, yeah, you have it all. It's very clear. So the attack by Hamas against the Israeli civilian population on October 7 was, if not fully, but at least partially funded by the transfer of money through those billions of dollars. You have the $6
by
billion,
us. We funded killing those Jews. We fund the proxies that are trying to sink our ships and killed our 3 troops. Did we not then?
We are. Unfortunately, that has been going on for many, many years, as I said, since 2009, and that's very troubling. Congress should hold hearings and should, crunch these numbers and show the American public that there is something very odd, very dangerous against our national security.
I totally agree. Walid Phares, his new book that is out is called Iran, an Imperialist Republic and U.S. Policy, available everywhere books are sold, including on Amazon. And I want to talk to you for a few more minutes. I know we have you till 8:25-ish. So when we come back, I want to ask you some more questions here coming up next. I want to ask you about where should we attack in Iran, and what else should we be doing to stop this terrorist attacks that have killed our soldiers and definitely is going to kill more of us and more Jews in Israel. Coming up next. Okay, sir, stand by. Can you stand by?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. Walid Phares coming up next for a few more minutes with us on the Chris Crock Show on News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3. Chris Crock Show on News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset. Walid Phares is a Middle East and Iran and terrorism expert. He has a new book out called Iran, an Imperialist Republic and U.S. Policy, and he is quite the expert. He advised Mitt Romney's campaign in 2012, Trump's in 2016, commentator on Fox News since 2007, prior to that NBC. Walid Phares, thanks for joining me tonight for another 7 minutes on the Chris Crock Show on WBAP. I am honored to have you on, and I look forward to having you on down the road again. I have some questions for you, sir, more on Iran and the strikes tonight of what I consider empty warehouses and empty things, that all the IRCG people are gone. All of the third world fighters in Iraq, Iran, and Houthis are in hiding. They were given a week. It's a disgrace. Walid, the next question I have for you is, where should we attack in Iran? Because I believe we should be hitting their oil production facilities. We should sink the spy ship that's in the Red Sea, and then we should also bomb their training facilities in within their country that train Hamas, Hezbollah, and Kateb al-Hezbollah, as well as the Houthis and others. And we should also take out the leader of the IRCG, whoever the new Qasem Soleimani is. I believe we should take out as well. What are your thoughts on that, and what do you think we should do that would stop all this?
Well, first of all, we need to have a change of policy in the administration here first, or a change of the administration next year. It's one or the other. And that change of policy, if it's this year, should begin by having the president go in public in front of the cameras and say clearly, we are withdrawing from the Iran deal. We are not sending money anymore. That by itself is 50% of the battle. Once you cut off these cash supplies to that regime, they won't have enough money to go and fund these militias, fund their program. So that is a decision that this president, this administration needs to do, stopping the Iran deal, stopping the transfer of money. Second, before even we get to Iran, the Iranian militias are traveling all the way from Iran to Iraq to Syria to Lebanon with Hezbollah and ending up on the borders of Israel and on the Mediterranean through one specific area. It's the Iran-Iraq border. Guess who's there? We are there. Our allies, the Kurds, are there. Our Sunni allies are there. But for some mysterious reason, if you look at the map, there is 180 kilometers still open. It's as if in the Iran deal, we have given the Iranians a space of 180 kilometers to cross from Iraq into Syria. And that is the secret of their strength. That's how they can fire their missiles against us. So close it down, shut it down. Our military on the ground, they're very good in the air. We are striking many targets. Yes, not all targets are significant, but the evidence that would tell us that the administration is changing course is to shut down those borders. And if that is done, then obviously inside Iran, as you just mentioned, I mean, all of what you have mentioned, all these strategic targets should have been dealt with a long time ago. Look what we've done in Serbia in the early 90s, what we've done with Muammar Gaddafi. In 30 days, we finished the Saddam Hussein army of 1 million people and the Taliban in a few weeks. Why are we so late? Why are we delaying? Because there is a deal, because there is a transaction, and that's what is very, very dangerous regarding guaranteeing our safety as a nation.
Yeah, I agree. So you do think, though, if we struck inside of the interior, we should have done this 2 months ago, right?
At least 2 months, I would say years ago. Iran has been acting as a hostile force against us for many years. At least we shouldn't have done this folly of removing the Houthis from the U.S. terror list. Look what we've done. We removed them, they armed themselves, we pressured the Saudis, we pressured the Emiratis, and then we pressured Israel not to take any action against them. And what happens? They are now trying to cut off the international supply line between Asia and Europe.
And they've successfully killed 3 of our troops, and they're still going. By the way, I don't think that what's happening tonight, bombing a bunch of empty places after giving them a week's warning to get out, all the Iranian folks are gone. I don't believe this is going to stop them at all. I think this is going to embolden them because we're not hitting them. Do you agree?
Absolutely. And don't...
All right, you broke up there for a second. What did you say?
I agree 100%. When we hit them and we do not defeat them, this is a strength that we are offering them. They're going to claim in front of their base, in front of their organization that, see, I fought the Americans. They did not defeat me. They didn't dare to continue against me. It's going to get worse. Every time we hit them and we don't defeat them, it's going to get worse.
Walid Phares' book is Iran, an Imperialist Republic and U.S. Policy, available everywhere books are sold, including on Amazon.com. Walid, I want to ask you 2 more quick questions before we let you go here in a minute and a half. Is Joe Biden leading us backwards into war by being so feckless and afraid? Is he not bringing us towards war, and is he not walking backwards right into a war? Isn't this how wars start?
Not just into war, but a war where we're going to be defeated. I mean, if it was a
you broke up there at the beginning. I apologize. Go ahead.
Not just that he's taken us to a war, but a war where we're going to be defeated, where our allies are going to suffer. If it was a short war where we defeat them, be it. But it's going to be a series of wars, which we have seen so far, where we are not attaining our goal. Israel is suffering. The Arabs are suffering. The Christian minorities in the Middle East are suffering. The Iranian people are suffering because of our mistakes. And unfortunately, with what's happening on our border, let me bring you back here, and this open border, the crumbling of the border, the Iranians, the other militias, are all going to be on our soil.
Agree. Now, last question. Nuclear, they're at 90. Iran tonight is right now at 90% enriched uranium. They are very close, I believe, we know, within months or less of getting a nuclear bomb. Tell me how close you believe they are, and tell us what they're going to do when they get that nuclear weapon. Are they going to make good and blow up Israel and wipe it off the face of the earth right away? What are they going to do?
I think their strategy is very smart. They know they have been fooling us with the issue of building the bomb, not building the bomb, getting the money. What really they have done? They got our money. They built the dome. It's like Israel has a dome of protection with missiles. That's what the Iranians have done. That's why it's going to be more difficult for us to strike inside Iran. They got the ballistic missiles. They got the anti-missile missiles. They funded the militias. And I have a bet, I hope I'm wrong, that the first nuclear bomb that they're going to show us is not going to be a thermonuclear bomb, because they know Israel will take it out, we will take it out. They're going to go ahead in the market and buy tactical nukes. That's what works in the Middle East. When they buy those tactical nukes, and then at one day they will say, I've detonated a nuke. I am now a member of the nuclear club like Pakistan and India, and they will dare us to go and fight with them because now they have the nukes. Once they have the nukes, everything will change in the Middle East.
Oh, basically, you think they're going to get a nuclear tactical missile, and then that's it because we can't hit them anymore? Is that, you believe that's going to happen? We're not going to stop them under Joe Biden?
It's not just Joe Biden, his administration and the philosophy, and Obama who's directing that philosophy. I don't think in the next 9 months we're going to see a new U.S. policy. We would have seen it last year, or the year before.
Now, we got to go, but it sounds to me like if Trump doesn't take them out, if they get the bomb beforehand, we're screwed, period. Yes or no, and then we'll let you go.
Yes, we have a big problem on our hands, indeed.
There you go. Thank you, my friend. And look, Walid Phares' book is out, Iran, an Imperialist Republic and U.S. Policy, available everywhere they're sold. Walid, I really appreciate you. Look forward to having you on again down the road a little bit, okay? Thank you, sir. You did a great job. Appreciate you very much. All right, coming up next on the Chris Crock Show, we're going to take your call. This is scary stuff we just talked about with Walid, and I can't wait to tell you everything that's going on tonight and why it's a joke, and there's no serious strikes. They gave them a week to leave, and we've done nothing but embolden them, and I'm not kidding you. And Walid agreed with me. That's coming up next to the Chris Crock Show. Lines wide open for you at 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227.
Look, this is going to be a harsh assessment. I'm not impressed at all. Look, when you've got a campaign plan, that means you've got an end state. This is where you're heading to at the end of the campaign. And what you're trying to do is to establish deterrence in the region. And you've got one command out there, Eric Kurilla's command. He's the 4-star commander of U.S. Central Command. They've had these target packages all set up for a long time. I mean, they adjust them every single day because people leave, ships leave, aircraft leave. But it's all based on decision-making within the White House. And they took their time to make this decision, and it's a clear decision to me. We are not going to go after the state sponsor of terrorism in the region, which is Iran. And we're going to hit secondary and tertiary targets. We're not going to go after the primary target. And we're hoping, and that's a terrible thing to do, we're hoping that the Iranians will say, okay, we're not going to do this anymore. That's wrong. We know what Tehran's going to do. You know, Golda Meir years ago, Martha, said, when somebody says they want to kill you, believe them. Right. And Iran says death to America and death to Israel, and that's what they're heading to.
Okay, so here we are tonight. The 82 or 85 strikes tonight are done, but this is a disgrace. We gave Iran a week's notice that we were going to be taking out, bombing these areas where they were shooting from or operating out of. Everyone, according to the Daily Wire tonight, here's the headline. Every one of these facilities, every one of the IRCG people, the Iranian Republican Guard / Quds Force, which is what operates outside of Iran, they were all gone. That they left a week ago because we told them. So there's no one in Iraq that is of value from Iran. There's no one. There was, but they left because we told them we gave them warning for 6 days before we struck. And we told them where we were going to strike. The targets were in the news and everything because Joe doesn't want to kill Iranians. They're allowed to kill us. They're allowed to strike us 166 times, including the Somalian Houthis yesterday that literally, according to fake news CNN, they literally were the Houthis missile, a cruise ship missile. Literally, all of our defenses on the USS Antietam, every defense failed. And a cruise missile, according to CNN, was seconds away from just sinking one of our ships, hitting and sinking one of our warships in the Red Sea. And what they had to do is use an automatic type defense weapons system, which is it's literally, I'm not exaggerating, according to CNN, it's a Gatling gun. That's it. It's called the Phalanx Close-In Weapon System, and it literally is Gatling guns. Quote, the system features Gatling guns that can fire up to 4,500 20-millimeter rounds a minute. That is what shot and stopped a Houthi, Iranian-funded and trained and operational cruise missile from destroying a warship on February 2nd. I mean, the story was today, so that was for yesterday. They literally were this close to sinking one of our warships. So I asked you yesterday, does it sound like they're afraid of us? When they shot a freaking cruise missile and almost took out a warship yesterday? They ain't afraid of us. But Joe gives them 6 days to flee. They're all gone. We ain't killing one of them. And we're just blowing up some facilities that has nobody in them because they know they're getting struck. So Joe's like, cool, they're all gone. Now we're going to light up the skies and show America we're tough when no one's there. Yeah. And you heard our Iranian and terrorism expert, Walid Phares. He said, this does nothing to deter them. This will do nothing. In fact, it will embolden them because they know we don't want to hurt them. And we're not going to strike within Iran. And we should. And we should have done it 2 to 3 months ago. He says it. Lieutenant General Keith Kellogg says it. Retired, of course, with the Trump. He was a Trump Pentagon guy, as well as Major General Frank Keating, who's retired, was with the Pentagon with Trump, said the same thing. We should have done this 3 months ago, 3 months ago. And he said now, they both have said now because we haven't done that, we have to hit them so much harder. And this is not the answer. This is not hitting them so much harder. This is hitting empty buildings after we've told them and warned them. And in fact, Tara Dahl, a former State Department official with the Trump administration, we talked off air. She couldn't come on tonight, but we were talking on the phone a little earlier tonight before I came on this afternoon. And she says, I guarantee you they were doing back channels with Iran, telling them to get out and telling them what we were going to be doing because they didn't want to hurt them, because Joe is freaking afraid of third world terrorists who are this close to getting a nuclear bomb. And Walid Phares said, and you know this is true, the moment they get that nuclear weapon, they're not going to tell us they almost have it. They're going to get it. And then when they're done, everything changes. Everything. We no longer can attack them and destroy them and take out the regime. This repressive regime will never be gone. And they will forever be bent on wiping Israel off, killing them first, and then killing us second. Their whole freaking goal is to kill every one of us infidels and every one of the Jews. And this freaking administration is literally making us look wimpy and is literally walking us into a war by how cowardly we're acting, even including today. Do you think anything that we did today, any of these strikes, has done a thing? Do you think it's effective? Do you think it's strong enough? Do you think it's powerful enough? My answer is no, and HE double hockey sticks, no. I really want to hear from you right now. Chime in. We have 4 lines open, 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. And I'm really ashamed of what we did today when I think about the beautiful families that lost their 3 heroes in that bunker, and the dozens of soldiers that were wounded in that bunker, and the over 100 soldiers who have gotten severely injured with traumatic brain injury, including one who can't even talk to this day. He may even end up being a semi-vegetable. He was hit with shrapnel. Because Joe literally has let our soldiers get killed and get severely wounded for life, and have let 100 plus of them get TBI. And TBI is traumatic brain injury, and it never goes away. You never get better from it. It never goes away. I'm almost going to bet you those people. I don't know the extent of TBI. I'm not an expert, but I'm willing to bet you it's possible they're going to be out, and they can't even do anything for the rest of their lives but be on disability, or at least with this career. I don't know, but I'm telling you, we're in a bad way, and we need Trump to take over today because we're in a bad way. And I pray to God that people have cojones and will do something. It's not us anymore. It's Israel. And I pray that our brothers and sisters in Israel don't even say anything to Biden and just take out the regime, because they're going to know before they get a bomb, I pray, and that they will take them out. This is unacceptable, and this is vile, and it's repulsive in so many ways. Our number is 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. And just want to ask you if you think we should be hitting Iran in addition to all of its proxies, but hit Iran itself, which we should. And do you feel President Biden's allowing our troops to continue to be sitting ducks in the Middle East? And do you think the Houthis and other Iranian proxies, even Iran, are not afraid of us at all like I do? 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. Armandina, you're on News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3. Hello.
Yes, I wanted to bring up about the Abraham Accords. That was supposed to bring peace to the Middle East, the two state of Palestine and Israel living in peace together, supported by the Arab Emirates and Qatar and Bahrain and some other countries over there. It seems to me as obviously when this President Biden came in, it's the disrespect of him just to know that already he's weak to begin with. And so it seems as if the Iranians are said, let's strike while the iron's hot, right?
Well, here's what happened. Iran knew that the Saudis were about to do another piece of that Abraham Accord with Israel and sign some big time stuff and establish some official high channels and really bring Israel into the mainstream with the entire Arab world through the Abraham Accords. And that's why Iran had Hamas strike when they did, because it literally killed and held off the Saudi and Israel deal. It literally did. That's exactly what they want to do. They do not want peace in the Middle East. They want to make it volatile and Islamist to take over the entire area. Go ahead.
Probably if President Trump would have still been in president, this would have not happened.
Would have been, number one, they're afraid of him. We took out Qasem Soleimani. They'll never do anything. They never would have done any of this. Hamas would not have attacked. Iran would have trained it to attack. They wouldn't be firing on us 166 times, and if they did that Hamas attack, it would be over within a few weeks because Trump wouldn't let it happen. And Saudi Arabia already would have had a deep peace deal with Israel, which is what Iran is like. It's like a vampire to a crucifix, Superman to kryptonite. They don't want it. So, Armandina, you're right, and I appreciate your call tonight on News Talk 820 WBAP. Whoops. Did I bump the button? And now on FM at 93.3. Thank you, Armandina. All right, coming up next, I want to talk to you as well. We've got several lines open at 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. I'm going to give you more details on how we literally were seconds away from losing a warship to the Houthis yesterday, showing how they're not afraid in any way, shape, or form of Joe Biden. They knew this attack was coming. They're going to attack again. They're emboldened still after this. You trust me. They ain't. This is not it. And the House Republicans, what they're saying about this, as well as I'm going to give you more details on the terror groups that all evacuated across the Middle East before we struck tonight because they were warned. All that's next. Chris Crock Show, News Talk 820 WBAP, and now on FM at 93.3. I want to hear from you now. Chime in 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227.
Well, we heard from President Raisi of Iran, who essentially said, the Americans used to say, and I'm paraphrasing, Americans used to say every option, every military option is on the table. He said they don't say that anymore.
Martha McCallum, in her spot-on analysis, she had a fantastic conversation with retired Lieutenant General Keith Kellogg, who was a member of the Pentagon under the Trump administration, one of his military advisors. All right, so this is what we're seeing tonight, what we saw tonight with bombings. It's over for the night, but this is, and I like how they're just saying, well, this is just the beginning of what you've given a week. You've given your enemy a week. You have broadcast, you've telecasted, you've announced all over the world that you are striking your enemy in 6 days. They've all left. And so anything you see after that is going to be nothing. And I will be shocked if they strike inside of Iran. But if they do, good, but they should have done it 2 months ago. But I truly believe that they will not. And they said it over and over again yesterday and the day before and this whole week. And they said it again today and tonight before the strikes that they are not hitting Iran. So they're not going to hit Iran. And you heard our expert, Walid Phares, on Iran and on the Middle East, our expert on that. And he came on tonight and he agreed that the only thing that would stop this if we hit Iran hard in their country, and that we should have done it 2-3 months ago. So this is why we're here. This is why we're escalating. This is why it's in a worse situation tonight than it was a week ago, 2 weeks ago, because he's walking us backward into war through his cowardice. Joe Biden has gotten us into, 3 wars now? He's gotten us into the Russia-Ukraine war by not doing what he should have done in the beginning and putting his cojones right on the table and saying, what Trump would do with Russia. You do this and you're going to really pay. You're not going to do this. And he didn't. You know what? I was listening to a Trump official, a former Trump official. I think it was Lieutenant General Keith Kellogg. And the reason why the Taliban didn't do jack while Trump was in office is because we told him. We told not him, but them. We told the Taliban. According to General Keith Kellogg, I was listening on the way in from Fox, catching more notes from these officials and everybody. And they said that, he said, we called the Taliban. Trump and I didn't. Here's what they said, what we said. We said, you're not going to do anything. And if you do, we're going to do this, and that here's exactly what we're going to do. We told them what we were going to do. We were going to wipe them out. I mean, it was bad. Like, they would be ruined. They'd be done. We'd kill them. We'd kill them all. Is apparently kind of the language that we use with them. And he said, you know what happened after that? Nothing. We literally told them what we would do to them. And it was insanely bad for them. So they said, oh, holy bleep. Okay, we're not going to do anything. We're so sorry. Oh, we're sorry. We go bye-bye now. That's what happened. And that's what Trump would do with Iran. He literally get on the horn with them or their proxies, not their proxies, the terrorists, but like their spokespeople or whoever it is we communicate with through and say, we're going to do this, 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 and this. And it's basically, we're going to end your regime. And so if you do that, it's happening. Your choice. And then they would do it, and we would just wipe them out. And that's exactly the kind of leadership we need. We need the kind of leadership that takes out the leader of their IRCG and Quds Force, which is what trains all these people. They're Qasem Soleimani, and there's a new one now, of course, and Joe won't touch him. All right, so I want to hear from you right now. Did we hit back hard enough? Was it strong enough? Was it? Is it gonna? You think it's gonna prevent anything? I don't think so in any way, shape, or form. I want to hear from you right now. Call in, chime in right now. 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. These wimpy, bass-ackward, walking us into war tactics that Joe's been employing have done nothing. They're all gone. Here is the Daily Wire this afternoon. IRCG commanders go into hiding as Biden administration continues to leak details of alleged retaliatory strikes. Commanders in the IRCG have reportedly gone into hiding after Joe Biden's administration repeatedly leaked their plans. As CBS News reported, Biden officials confirmed to the network that plans have been approved for a series of strikes inside Iraq and Syria. And Jennifer Griffin, Fox News, said that CBS report noted that all these IRCGC commanders already left Syria and had gone into hiding, leaving those bases. They're gone. The Pentagon usually does not telegraph so much if it wants the element of surprise, she added. The Politico said the disclosure by Biden was mocked online by policy experts, quote, could lower the chance of U.S. getting pulled into a direct confrontation with Iran, quote. Full control is irrelevant, said another one. Tehran has the capacity to choke off weapons to militias and highly likely ability to halt action by any major groups that rely upon Tehran for significant financial support. So, this is crazy. The Biden administration, Politico also said, blames Israel for Iranian-backed terrorist groups attacking U.S. forces. What the heck is it Israel's fault for? What the heck? All right, I'm going to tell you a lot more. We now know who manufactured the drone that killed 3 of our soldiers. Hint, it starts with an I and ends with an N, and it's got 4 letters. And it rhymes with Diran. I don't know, make up something. It's a Flock of Seagulls song.